Yo, zed.run community, welcome back. Thank you so much for the support. All you folks up there hitting that little subscribe button. I'm doing my part. Thank you so much for doing yours. If you haven't done so, please consider doing so, and I won't waste any more of your time. In this episode, what we're going to do is go over the results of last week's breeding, talk about a few of our initial horses. I'm going to go through my horses in the current stable, the progress that I'm making with them, and then I'm going to end up with how I'm actually getting better at playing, trying to make synthetic ewes, find and utilize stamina better for better results on the racetrack. So, although last week's breeding was fun, we did set our expectations in the right place. We set low expectations, and the way it's turning out so far is low results. As you can see, the name turned out to be Humphreys McGee, name of my favorite band, and in my opinion, the greatest rock and roll band in Earth today. Check them out. If you've never heard of them, you should. It's worth your time. I promise you, they are very diverse and incredible musicians. Enough for that plug. As you can see, both her U shape and her general stats as a whole have not been too good. So I have a feeling, as we said, she's going to be a horse for the future. You never know. She may be a good breeder someday. As for our two donkeys, that hippie chick is starting to show some promise in 1,000 meter class 5 free races. And by promise, I mean it's going to take a long time, but if I keep running free races, she may just make her money back eventually. Or, of course, we get our wish and more classes, please, and thank you. Hey, a quick tip here for folks who are running horses that are freebie only, the kinds that you don't really want to invest any more into, but enjoy watching them run down the track for that random natural 20 that they can show and get some free money. In my current stable, I'm using Humphreys and that hippie chick, both in class 5, aiming for free. One of them has a preference for long and one of them has a preference for short. So when I see a free race go off, I'll know to click on one or the other for the best shot at winning. Having them both in the same stable, in the same class, heightens our chance of getting a priority race. Since free races are hard enough to get in the first place, you might as well have one that gives you the best chance to get return on your investment. Both Yo Daddy and that hippie chick have not run many races since the update, since the site has been having problems. I've been prioritizing my better horses that I've been really trying to work out. So even with free races, they're at the bottom of the barrel as far as who are getting them. So as it stands now, Yo Adrian is working out to be quite a reasonable racer for me, although she does need to be very carefully managed. She's at this time a class 5, 1,000 meters all day. She can run $2.50 races and occasionally okay in the $5 races. Generally speaking, she's very consistent with the $2.50 races. And thankfully, we've learned how to downclass her as well. As you can see here on the Stack to Nax website, she is straight red in anything long. When I get her into class 4, if I can get a free race off in something long, oftentimes I'll get a free down class back to class 5 to make more easy runs in the 1,000 meters. As for Spliff, our first racehorse that we bought, he's doing just fine. Mind you, he hasn't been terribly hot, but he's holding his own. He still has a positive return on investment. He's shaped kind of like an A, but I'm starting to figure out how to use him. His U shape, not too hot. As you can see, he has some fun runs up in the 2000s here. I could probably spend a little bit more time in 1600 to flesh that out, especially since he has a win there, which, I don't know, probably fluky with 9 there, or 3 in the 9 spot and 3 there. For those of you who saw the movie I made about how to find a winning horse, I talked a little bit specifically about how I found 6 to Midnight here as one of my project horses. This big old stud had quite a rough start. Another owner putting 50 races up, all under a class 4 2000 and carving a niche that really wasn't his own. I can run him in class 5 if I can get him down there. As I'll discuss later on, that's easier said than done, but I've been reasonably successful. He still has a negative ROI on the whole, but that does calculate the prior owner. And once again, using the Stacked Next website, it gives us a real easy view of exactly what I was thinking and how well it's working. When, like I said, he was always running in class 4. I believe he's a class 5, but to keep him there is easier said than done. Let me demonstrate. Here's his class 4 results. 4 finishes in the money and a lot more outside, and worst of all, in the middle. Now, when we move him up to class 5, all of a sudden, I get out of the way because there it is. Results are evident. Now it's just a matter of being able to consistently downclass him. And as you see, it looks that way from all the red, but when you look at the median speeds, he's a little bastard. He can just get out there and run sometimes and surprise you. Another one of our project horses we bought, who I believed we were going to be able to make a good run with, yet he had hidden speed, was ye old Gaylord Fokker. Now, his results have continued to be mostly mid-pack. I cannot figure out how to get him to down class. As you see, he occasionally hits a 9th, but he will not get down to 10th and 11th. Very recently popped his cherry here. Besides that, mostly mediocre finishes. He's going to take a while to turn him around, but there is a way to be done. I just haven't figured it out yet. I think what it is that I'm going to have to invest more in downclassing and then hope for better results or find a way to derive better results from the class 5 runs that I'm getting there. In either case, he's turning out to be a lot of work. And last and certainly not least is the one and only carbon superiority. As I mentioned in my previous video, carbon superiority I got at a steal, in my opinion. I had put an offer in much lower than the asking price, woke up one morning to find him in my stable, and when I had put the offer in, was unraced when he showed up, had 5 races under his belt, but I've been very, very happy since. This is a horse that I believe had a lot of potential, and I did well by finding him in the field of open sea horses. That said, learning how to manage them and run in the correct races has been challenging, but I learned a lot and I think I'm doing pretty good. Variance in class 4 is a tricky, makes downclassing him to class 5 really challenging, but it also makes it rewarding since some of the times I'm aiming for a down class and get a nice win or a 2nd place or a 3rd place out of it. But most importantly, you see, moving him down to class 5, he is a cold-blooded killer. U-shaped, nothing in the middle. Let's go. Now the next thing to do is learn how to get him into class 5 and find out exactly which of his distances is the best. If he can become a natural U in class 5 at a higher entry level, this will be one happy stable owner. So that's the wrap up on the horses. And as I said in the beginning, I wanted to go over a quick thing about my ability to play the game and what I've learned. As you heard, I did a lot of downclassing. I learned how to play that game. It's the whole trick. If you can't beat them, join them. So learn how to join them. Easier said than done. Little tricks of the trade is if you can assure that you have somebody that runs in the bottom class at a higher entry level, that you will be able to recoup your fees easier than at the higher class level that you're looking to. Don't be afraid to put them into a $5 race. Odds of you tanking to 12, if you can barely win on a free, or you get reasonably mid-pack on a free races in, say, class 4, you want to get back to class 5, try paying the $250 and see if you can get down. If you can, if you're still in the middle, $5 race there will almost assuredly move you back down to class 5 and go from there. Obviously, you have to balance the return on investment there. You have to understand when you get back down to class 5 that you're going to get money back or your rewards back in the other direction. 4th place finishes, you're going to be very, very sad. The last thing is the stamina. It wasn't until later on last week when we knew the stamina patch was coming that I decided to get serious about trying to take advantage of it, to Not to worry about showing the best stats and the optimal stats for my horse, but to try to just figure out the outcomes and work with the stamina. So over the weekend, I ran my horses down. I ran them into the 70s because with the previous patch, you could lose points up until 70. So I ran them at 75, and sure as heck, 12s, 11s. It was great, right down to where I went. So today, doing it a little bit more, run them up right through 90%, running hard in the classes and the races that I want to win at as best as I can. If I need to down class, don't worry about it. But once I get below 90%, 89, whatever, looking for a free race, preferably in a distance that you're not good at, is a great way to tank, lower them points down, and get ready for your next racing session. It's working out so far. It's not guaranteed. It's really hard. Some horses just don't want to lose, and I tell you what, I don't blame them because it doesn't feel good. But you gotta give them a little TLC. Say, yo, baby, baby, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get you down there, get some roses on you. Don't worry, girl. You're taking one for the team. We got this. So now, as far as the stable goes and the stable management goes, I'm still having an absolute blast. Thankfully, for the last day or two, the site has been reasonable, getting better. The devs have been communicating on Discord. Things keep getting better. We have free races again. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you, devs. Appreciate that because I tell you what, it makes the game so much more fun. Not having to put risk on every race when you can have a lower tier horse just get out there and run for fun. Much appreciated. As you can see behind us is our breeding schedule. If anybody is interested in using any of my studs or potentially finding other ways to use my fillies and mix your bloodlines, please reach out and let me know. That'd be really fun. All right, folks, as always, thank you so much for making it this far. If you have, it couldn't have been that bad. Please consider hitting that like button. You know I appreciate it, and it helps the encouragement. I'll be back again soon. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. Hit me up in Reddit, down below, Twitter, anything goes. Awesome. See you on the track. Peace.